When you think about great flippers, one of the names that comes to mind quickly for me is from right here in Oklahoma. Wow, that's a beauty. Good morning, guys and girls. April 14. We're looking at John 6:20. Jesus said to them, "It is I. Do not be afraid." I think if I remember correctly all around that, and I'm not sure if I do, but if I remember correctly, Jesus came to them walking on the water, and it scared them. They thought they were seeing a ghost. But Jesus said, "It is I. Do not be afraid. It is I. Do not be afraid." I once heard a guy tell his buddy about his day fishing with Tommy Biffle. That's right, Tommy Biffle. A great flipper, a great pitcher from right here in Oklahoma, a great tournament fisherman, has had an incredibly super career in fishing bass tournaments. He put his, and this is what this guy was telling his buddy. I overheard the conversation. He put his bait in places where we wouldn't even think about throwing in. He could have been talking about any top-line pro. They have the ability, these really big-time pro guys have the ability and the confidence to attempt and make just about any cast. Learn to cast like they do, and you'll definitely start catching more fish. As we go about our day-to-day affairs, we all face seemingly impossible situations from time to time, like trying to make an impossible catch. We have things that we encounter that are there's just almost no way out. There's no way to solve the problem. There's no way to make things right. What gives me the confidence to go right ahead and cast when these situations come along in my life? What gives me that confidence? My confidence is in Jesus and my close personal relationship with Him. Here's another thing. He's always seen me through the many problems that I've had throughout my lifetime. And we've had some biggies. I mean, some really, really big, tough personal situations. Medically, financially, death-wise, on and on and on and on and on. And He's always seen me through all of those times. And you know what? Can I tell you? He's not done yet. He's not done yet. I'll face situations throughout the rest of my lifetime that some of them will be all but impossible to live through. Yet God will help me live through them. Absolutely no doubt about that. If you're facing a struggle today, just think back and remember back to some of the other struggles you had in your lifetime and how God helped you through those, how God saw you through those, and how some of them that were so big, so catastrophic, so devastating when they happened really are not very important at all right now. Jesus said to them, "It is I. Do not be afraid." Do not be afraid. Here's our tip for today. Become a pitcher like Tommy Biffle. Really, here's our tip. Learn to pitch and to flip to get into those really tough spots. You know, a lot of the really precise casts that we make to get a bait into little bitty tiny holes, almost no one can do casting. You can do that pitching, a lot of people can, but if you learn to flip really, really well, and flipping is a technique where you're using your offhand to pull your line in, you're using your wrist to put a bait out there and make it go into little bitty tiny spots, maybe a little hole in a brush pile. You're going to fit your jig right through that and let it fall down that brush pile. So if there's a bass in the middle of that brush pile, you're going to hook him. I got to admit, a lot of the times you're not going to ever get him out of there. That's why sometimes when we're doing that, we use 50, 65, 80-pound test high seas braided line. And we'll just absolutely just try to horse that fish out of there. And hopefully we've got her hooked good enough that we can just get her out or get her to the top of the water where we can maybe get down there and get our hands down there and get our hands on those fish. You know, if you're fishing for fun, most of the time you don't even worry about those kind of places. Because if you're fishing for money in tournaments, though, some of those kind of places are the places where no one else ever fishes. You know, I've quit fishing tournaments now, and may go back and fish them. You never can tell. I still love them. But I don't really try to make as difficult throws as I used to make because if I don't catch as many fish as I used to catch in tournaments, doesn't make any difference. I'm having a blast out there. So some of the things that we talk about in tournament fishing, you might not even need to do out there in your everyday life. But if you want to catch more fish, try to get your bait in places where most people don't ever throw into. Guys and girls, go out there and have you a great one today. And remember, I love you.